we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to my review for the Super Mario Bros. Movie. For those that don't know, chat, of course, Super Mario Bros. Movie is an adaptation of the Super Mario Bros. Games and all the various spin-offs that have been coming out for the last, I guess, 40 years now, technically, chat. And in this film, with the help of Princess Peach, Mario is squaring off against the all-powerful Bowser, the king of the Koopas, to stop his plan from conquering the worlds and the various worlds that exist in this wide galaxy. You know, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, overall, like I'm a fan of a lot of Mario games, chat. I think for a lot of us who grew up playing games, we've played Mario games, chat. Whether we own an NES, SNES, 64, and Nintendo 64, all the way up to now the Switch, chat. You know, Mario has been a part of our lives for quite some time, and there's games that I love and games that I don't particularly care for. So, I always had like a sense of nostalgia, always a sense of love for this franchise, chat. And, I was always saying, like, yeah, it'll be fun to get like a Super Mario Bros. Movie. And, they did one in 1993, and that thing was awful. It was an abomination, chat. Not the fault of the actors, of course, just, the filmmakers and the writers, obviously. But, and then Nintendo took that away and said, all right, no more adaptations. They got burned so bad by that, they are like, hey, we're just going to concentrate on our games and our spin-offs and everything else, right? Maybe occasionally do some fun shorts or something. And so, when it was then announced only a few years ago that Nintendo was going to do an animated movie, I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. I mean, if you got plenty of material to pick from now, I have to say, I had a lot of misgivings about Illumination being the studio department with Nintendo. As I said before, I think Illumination is a schlock animation house. Not to say that there aren't talented people that work there in terms of like the scenes they're able to make, like the animation itself. I mean, yeah, it's good. But when it comes to their storytelling, when it comes to their characters, terrible. Despicable Me to the Minions, Life of Pets, Sing. It just their stuff just seems like it's not pushing anything forward. They're not pushing boundaries. They're not interested in telling, good stories, right? They're not interested in having their characters have interesting conversations or fun conversations or nice back and forth or rapport. It's just like pop culture reference, non sequitur, fart joke, modern song that'll be dated in about 2 or 3 years. And that is the Illumination formula. And the thing is, despite my general dismissiveness of Illumination and just kind of apathy towards them, they are commercially successful. There's no doubt about that. They've been able to build an empire thanks to Despicable Me and the Minions chat and the merchandise. Like, of course they have. Like, I'm never going to deny that they're not commercially successful films. They are. I just think, when it comes to doing something special, creative, I think they're the worst of the worst. Some of the worst of the worst, chat. They're no DreamWorks, they're no Pixar or any other animation studio out there. I think they're Drek. But, I will say, I was like, okay, hey, these trailers that we were seeing, visually, they were looking really cool. I'm liking it. Hey, you seem very respectful just of the aesthetics of Mario. So I was like, okay, going in. Some of the voice cast was like, all right, I'm not so sure about this person. This person I'm excited about, but okay. But chat, after seeing the movie, which again, they were very smart to keep this at like 85 minutes, 90 minutes long. Very, very short because they're going to make a lot of it. This is going to be another huge commercial success for Illumination. There's no doubt my audience was packed today when I saw this. A lot of kids, a lot of screaming little kids who were so excited to see Mario because they kept saying his name. They kept saying Luigi's name. They didn't kind of character showed up. They went, it's Donkey Kong. It's this guy and him and her. And then they were all over the moon. It's going to do very well for their target demographic, But my overall opinions, to start positively, visually, I think it's absolutely stunning. They did a great job of capturing the look of Mario, the Mushroom Kingdom, all the various other environments that we've seen from the jungles of Donkey Kong to the the wintry wastelands of like the Penguin City to Bowser's home, and being very evocative of even stuff like Luigi's Mansion. It's like all that is great aesthetically. The movie nails it. The character designs I think work really well. From Mario, despite not having an ass, he has a concave. They want to make sure. I think there must have been a studio note. Make sure Mario and Luigi have concave asses. It doesn't stick out, chat. It goes inward. Very weird. It looks like his asshole is just sucking his cheeks. Very weird design. However, despite that, all the designs look great. They're cute. and they're fun to watch, move around and jump and stuff. Like, they nailed that. And if you're a Nintendo fan, if you are certainly a Super Mario Bros. Fan, Easter eggs, references galore. You're getting all of that here. And I feel like some of the references work better than others. Sometimes you're like, oh, it's just in the background. It's like, oh, that's kind of fun to see. For example, in the beginning of the movie, you have Mario and Luigi, like, in the real world in Brooklyn, and they're opening up their plumbing company. It's kind of like, hey, it's our own startup. They left this one guy and started up their own company. And, like, the pizzeria they go to, the pizzeria and grill, a bar and grill they go to, it has references to Punch-Out. You see references to Mac. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. I like that. That's cool. Again, it's subtle. It's not in your face. Like, Some of the stuff that they're more in your face with, I guess some of it's like, for example, there's a huge, it's not a surprise at this point. A lot of references to Mario Kart. They even say, it's like, we need carts. We need the carts now. Where can we get carts? And I'm like, okay, I get it. Mario Kart. All right. But when they were more subtle, the references like, oh, that's fun. That's clever. I like that. There's like little details, which, hey, if you're a fan, you'll see it, you'll love it. And if you're not, you don't know, it won't bother you. You'll just move on to the next scene. So the references are a mixed bag, but visually, the movie looks beautiful. There's no question about that. The voice cast, I feel like, is a mixed bag. Jack Black and Keegan-Michael Key, who play Bowser, King Koopa, and Toad, respectively, they steal the show. Along with some other side characters. They have some other side characters in it that, I don't know off the top of my head, like, what they're called, but very funny. But anytime these two guys are on screen together, perfect. Jack Black is a great Bowser. They do some, I guess you could say, Jack Black-esque things with him, but it works for the character of Bowser. I like how they bring up his obsession with Peach. That's a nice running. That's actually one of the more consistent running gags that really works in the movie. Thought that was great. Toad by Keegan-Michael Key, he's insane. Which is what I was hoping for. He is crazy. He's very much the Toad I always wanted. Hi! Hello! He's that. He's that through and through. You don't know what he's going to do. And I think it's like some people might be annoyed with him, but I just found him very amusing. Even though the other characters are like, can you kind of keep him away from me? Because you just don't know. He's the craziest of all the Toads. And so I really liked him a lot. He was great. And there's also you get some Koopas, you get some Goombas. They have some funny moments. There is this one little star character in the movie that is just like, hey, we're just giving jokes to this thing. And it's like voiced by, it sounds like a child actor. Anytime they pop up, you feel like, okay, this can get kind of tired. When they pop up, it's funny because they're always saying something very horrifying. And it works. All that works, However, I got to say, outside of Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, and some of the other voice actors who, they don't have their name on the marquee, sadly. Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Seth Rogen, they're not bad. They're just serviceable. Chris Pratt, he does Mario catchphrases. He says, he speaks in Mario's voice occasionally, but it's very much like, hey, how you doing? It's like more of a Brooklyn accent Mario. It's pretty much like Bob Hoskins, honestly. It's not much different, I would say. But he's not off. It's not like he's not just Chris Pratt. I think a lot of us had some misgivings about his cast. He's like, he just sounds like Chris Pratt. And here it's like, nah, you sound like Bob Hoskins. You sound like a Brooklyn guy. Charlie Day's not in the movie that much. People that were hoping for a lot of Luigi stuff, not really. He's in the beginning, and then he takes a long break. They occasionally cut back to him, but he's not really there. Because that's kind of the premise of the entire movie, Chad. It's really just Mario about rescuing Luigi, not so much rescuing Princess Peach, rescuing Luigi. And so they don't really spend a lot of time with him, and they don't really do much with him other than him being, kind of scared. Anya Taylor-Joy's Princess Peach. It's a different take in Princess Peach. She's actually proactive in the movie. They set up something interesting with her in the film that they do not touch on again about what her origin is and why she's the ruler of the Mushroom Kingdom. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But it's like, sequel bait. We'll explore this in a sequel. See you later. I was like, okay. But again, her performance, it doesn't stand out. Much like Charlie Day and Chris Pratt, not bad. It's serviceable. Seth Rogen, he's Seth Rogen. He is Seth Rogen doing Seth Rogen's voice as Donkey Kong. He has daddy issues, which is interesting, with his father Cranky Kong, which I did like. I did like exploring what the Kong world is like, or their lands that they control. It's like, that was kind of interesting. It's different than the Mushroom Kingdom, and it definitely has the aesthetics of the Donkey Kong games and everything. I like that. Bananas, the bananas, all that, you know. They touch on like his daddy issues and things, but again, he's just Seth Rogen, and I did like the relationship between him and Mario in the movie, because that is, I guess, well, okay, the original enemy of Mario is technically Cranky Kong, but like for the sake of convenience, it's like that's his original foe is Donkey Kong. And so to have them like fighting against each other, having to work each other, work out the differences, become friends along the way, that's fun. It works. It works. But again, there's just nothing about their performances that really stood out. There's nothing with them that was like a recurring gag that like made me, you know, laugh. The action scenes with everyone, especially with them, they're fun to watch. But, you know, their personalities just really pale in comparison to Jack Black as Bowser and Keegan-Michael Key as Toad. You know, they are the highlights. Every time there's, oh, there you go. Now I'm like, I'm awake now. When it comes to the, you know, this, listen, I knew this going in, and so I wasn't disappointed. I was like, okay, I expected this. The Illumination they're terrible storytellers. They don't care about that. You know, they don't care about character development. They don't care about telling an interesting story that kind of, you know, they just want to fill it with, you know, visuals and gags and non sequiturs. This story is generic as they come. Mario has to rescue his brother. He trains to become the Super Mario that we know and love. He enlists the helps of a variety of other Nintendo characters. And in between, they make references to the mainline games and the spin-off games. And that's it. That's all this movie is. Also, and this is another thing that Illumination does that I fucking hate. They include a lot of modern music, which just takes you out of the film several times. This is like, we got to reference this music, which will, you know, especially now, because I've been hearing, you know, I need a hero. It's like, I heard this already. Okay. All right. You know, no need to keep doing it. And it's weird though, because like the film actually has a fantastic orchestral score. Like they play all these songs that are from the original games, but it's just like, now we have like this huge orchestra behind them, and they're like, wow, they're great, right? And so anytime they had the modern sounds, it's like, you don't need this really. But again, that's Illumination's MO. That's what they're obsessed with, and it's a part of their schlocky sensibilities. And again, I brought this up before, chat, but Illumination just loves to make these weird non sequiturs that go nowhere. I mean, yeah, that's a non sequitur, chat. It's the very definition. These jokes that like have no through line, that don't connect to the next thing that's said. It's like, for example, and there's like, you know, dozens of them. They'll have it where Mario's like, he's talking to Luigi because their plumbing business is not going well, right? And he's just like, I just need to find my destiny. You're right. He's talking to Luigi. And Luigi's like, you like Destiny LaBuca? The girl you had a crush on in high school? Ayo! It's like, who? What? It just like, you're just confused by it. And it's like, wait, what? And they do that. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And they don't like, oh, we're going to go to Destiny LaBuca later on in the movie. Like, oh, I should have dated you. Like, nothing. It's just there. It's like, what? It's like, I took a word you just said and I made a reference to something in the past that no one has any idea about. And they do that. And again, that is Illumination through and through. And it's a comedic crutch throughout their filmography. And it's annoying. Now, the one thing that surprised me, though, despite some of that, they didn't have like a particular character or set of characters that are just obnoxious. There's nothing like the Minions in this movie. Like, you think like, oh, the Toads are all going to be that way, or the Penguin's going to be that way, or the Koopas or the Goombas. Like, no, they don't have like these obnoxious creatures in there that are just there to be crass and speak mumbo jumbo, you know, hubbubaloo or anything like that. There's nothing that's irritating in this movie. And I did appreciate just non sequiturs, right? But, you know, listen, I mean, overall, because there's not a lot else going on in this movie, this is a very, very safe movie meant for children that will, in most cases, most likely thoroughly entertain them for about 85 to 90 minutes. Yes, it's better than the original Super Mario Bros. Movie. That goes without saying, Chet, obviously. All right, trust the fungus, no thank you. But it doesn't reach the same heights as a lot of recent video game adaptations. I mean, even like more mature stuff like Arcane or Castlevania, or even more children-centric entertainment like the Sonic film series or even Detective Pikachu. You know, it's fine. It's entertaining. It's visual eye candy, chat. They completely nail look at the world, but they're not going far to provide a interesting story or to really develop these characters past their personalities that we know from the game themselves. That's it. So yeah, that's the highlights. Really love Jack Black as Bowser. He's great. They do a lot of fun stuff with him. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad is great. Visually beautiful movie. There's some other supporting voice actors in here I think do a good job. You know, they get some funny stuff. But the rest of the cast, like that awful. They're there. They exist. So yeah, to me, it's a rental. It's an entertaining rental, chat. Yeah, I mean, you're in and out. Go take a matinee show. You'll be done in 85 minutes, and there you go. They're going to keep making more of these movies, though. There's no doubt. They are setting up. They literally say there's a whole galaxy of characters that we can meet with. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you expect sequels, expect a Donkey Kong spinoff, expect a Luigi's Mansions. I mean, everything. It is all up there now, chat. This movie is making so much money. They are going to Illumination's in the Nintendo business now, and I think a lot of their films are, unless you're a Despicable Me or a Minions, you're falling by the wayside. They are making these films, and so that's what they're doing. So for me, chat, I would give it it's a rental. It's an entertaining rental. I wish they would do more, but it's Illumination, so I do not expect them to, because they just don't have the quality storytellers like Pixar or DreamWorks does, or any other competent animation house. But that's my opinion, chat. That's what I thought of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. What about you guys? How do you feel about the Super Mario Bros. Movie? I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and I wanted to take the time to tell you about the movie of the week, a film that I really enjoy and one that I think you will too. This week's movie is the John Wick trilogy. Just in time for the release of John Wick Chapter 4, the trilogy stars Keanu Reeves and follows a legendary hitman who is forced out of retirement to seek revenge against the men who killed his dog, a final gift from his recently deceased wife. If anyone is interested in purchasing this fantastic film series, please make use of the Amazon affiliate link below in the video description. Your purchase of the film not only earns me a helpful commission, but any purchase you may make after clicking the link itself for 24 hours would help earn me additional commissions as well. Doesn't matter if it's a Blu-ray, a video game, a pair of socks, or a washing machine. Everything within 24 hours of that click can really help the channel. So go ahead and check out the film, enjoy browsing, and enjoy shopping.